You meet someone at a party. You shake their hand. You look them in the eye. They tell you their name. 10 seconds later, you are standing there in awkward silence because you have absolutely no idea who you are talking to. You have already deleted the file. You study for an exam for 3 weeks. You walk into the test hall. You read the first question. Your mind goes blank. The information is gone. You tell yourself, I just have a bad memory. You are wrong. You do not have a bad memory. You have an untrained memory. And more importantly, you are trying to use your brain in a way it was never designed to be used. You are trying to store information like a computer hard drive, as linear text and abstract data. But your brain is not a hard drive. Your brain is a GPS. For 200,000 years, human beings did not need to memorize phone numbers, historical dates, or the periodic table. We needed to remember where the clean water was. We needed to remember where the poisonous berries grew. We needed to remember the route back to the cave. Our survival depended on spatial navigation. This is why the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for long-term memory, is also the exact same part of the brain responsible for spatial mapping. It is filled with neurons called place cells. If I asked you to close your eyes and mentally walk through your childhood home, you could do it perfectly. You can see the front door, the hallway, the kitchen, the sofa. You haven't lived there in 10 years, yet the data is permanent. You didn't have to study flashcards to remember where your toilet was. You just know. The secret to a super memory is not to force your brain to remember words. It is to trick your brain into thinking the words are locations. This is the secret of the memory palace, or the method of Lotzi. It is the technique used by Roman orators to memorize 5-hour speeches, and it is the technique used by modern memory athletes to memorize a deck of 52 cards in under 20 seconds. They are not geniuses, they are just hacking the hardware. Here is the 4-step protocol to build your own Sherlock Palace and never forget anything again. Step 1. The blueprint, the loci. You need a structure that you already know perfectly. Do not invent a new building. That creates too much cognitive load. Use your current house. Stand at the front door. This is your starting point. Now design a route. You walk through the door, into the hallway, turn left into the kitchen, go to the fridge, then the oven, then the table, then move to the living room, the couch, the TV. You need to identify specific anchor points, loci, along this route. Fridge, front doormat, hallway mirror, kitchen sink, fridge, oven. These anchors are your empty folders. You are going to file information into them. Step 2. The translation, visual encoding. This is where 99% of people fail. They try to place the word procrastination on the fridge. The brain ignores abstract concepts. The brain loves images. Specifically, the brain loves images that are violent, sexual, ridiculous, or terrifying. This is known as the von Restorff effect. We remember things that stand out. We forget things that are boring. If you walk down the street and see a brown dog, you will forget it in 5 minutes. If you walk down the street and see a neon pink dog dancing the tango with a clown, you will remember it for the rest of your life. You must translate your boring data into crazy images. Let's say you need to memorize a grocery list. Eggs, milk, and bread. Do not just picture eggs on the doormat. That is too boring. Picture the front doormat. Now imagine you step on it and crack. It is made of thousands of fragile, smelly eggs. The yolk squirts up your leg. You can smell the sulfur. It is disgusting. The more senses you engage, smell, touch, sound, the stronger the neural pathway. Step 3. The placement. Locking it in. Now walk the route. Anchor 1. Doormat. You step on the crunching, smelly eggs. Anchor 2. Hallway mirror. You look in the mirror, but instead of your reflection, a cow is jumping out of the glass, spraying you with milk. You feel the cold liquid hitting your face. Anchor 3. Kitchen sink. You turn on the tap, but water doesn't come out. A giant, soggy loaf of bread slowly squeezes out of the faucet like toothpaste. It is gross. It makes a squelching sound. You have now encoded 3 items. Because these images are highly emotional, disgust, surprise, and linked to a spatial location and place cells, They bypass the short-term memory filter and stick like superglue. You can do this for anything. History exam. You need to remember the year 1969, moon landing. Go to the fridge. Inside the fridge, imagine Neil Armstrong floating in zero gravity, eating a piece of cheese. He's wearing a tie-dye shirt representing the 60s. Now, whenever you think moon landing, your brain goes fridge, Neil Armstrong, 1969, hallway mirror, step 4, the walkthrough, spaced repetition. The beauty of the palace is that the data is indestructible as long as the building stands. To recall the information, you simply close your eyes and walk the route. What was on the mat? Oh, the disgusting eggs. What was in the mirror? The cow. What was in the sink? The soggy bread. You can walk the route forwards and backwards. You can jump to the kitchen immediately. The access speed is instant. If you need to memorize a speech, break it into key topics. Place the first topic on the mat, the second in the hallway, the third in the kitchen. When you are on stage, you aren't trying to remember words. You are just mentally walking through your house, describing what you see on the furniture. This eliminates the anxiety of going blank, because you know exactly where the next topic is waiting for you. The baker paradox. Why does this work so well? Neuroscience explains it with the baker paradox. If I tell you a man's name is Mr. Baker, you will likely forget it. The name is just an abstract sound. It has no neural hooks. If I tell you a man is a baker, a profession, you will remember it. Why? Because when you hear the profession baker, your brain activates a web of associations. The smell of bread, a white hat, a hot oven, flour on an apron. You have multiple hooks to hang the memory on. The memory palace turns every piece of data into a profession. It adds context, texture, and location to the data. It turns a single weak neuron into a robust neural network. The linking method, chaining. What if you run out of furniture? You use chaining. You link the items together. If you have to remember Apple battery car, imagine an apple. Now imagine you bite into it, but it shocks you. There is a battery inside. Now imagine that battery has wheels and drives away like a car. Apple, battery car. You are creating a narrative chain. The brain loves stories. It has evolved to remember narratives 22 times more effectively than facts. The summary. A bad memory is a choice. It is a symptom of laziness in encoding. If you just read a textbook and hope it sticks, you are throwing sand at a wall. You need to turn the sand into bricks. The blueprint. Use your house as the map. The translation. Turn boring data into shocking, violent, or weird images. The placement. Lock the images onto specific furniture. The walk. Review the route mentally. Stop treating your brain like a notepad. Treat it like a theater. Fill it with monsters, explosions, and weird scenes. You will find that you can remember 50, 100, or 1000 items without breaking a sweat. The limit does not exist. The only limit is your imagination. If you are ready to upgrade your storage capacity to infinite, subscribe to BrainOS. We are building the archives.